Hello everyone, my name's Candy Soriano and I blog at stampwithcandy.com, and I'm here with Crafty Collaborations to show you some things from the new Stampin' Up! Annual catalog. I'm so excited about this catalog in particular because there were a few sets that right away I could make 10 cards from. And today I'm going to share one of those with you. If you check out my blog, you'll see one of the other sets sometime after the catalog goes live. So the week after you see this video. So anyway, I'm gonna show my desktop and show you what I have. So that's not what I wanted on top. So let's try this. Okay, so beautiful balloons. This is a great, great birthday set for so many reasons. First of all, the sentiments are great. I love that font. I love this font. And it has other things that you could use, for instance, for a graduation. So yay, you did it. Yay, you. So thrilled for you. So there's some other things, and you could make either that's a string on a balloon, or it could be a banner, a bunting sort of banner. It comes with bundled dies, which I adore. So this makes this really beautiful tag. Now you're going to say, well, what happened to the other side? Well, it didn't fit on the card, so I cut it off, but makes this really, look at that, the detail in that. You get this confetti, and as soon as I have a few minutes, I am going to use this die to make a window card, and this will be the confetti inside it. And then it has these stars. It has, this looks like, it's if you cut it right, it can be grass, but it also is just a fun thing. I imagine wrapping it around itself, and it just, flares out, and it'll be beautiful. And then we have a bunch of dies that cut out the balloons in the stamp set, right there, but also cut out a couple other balloons. And so you can do, and I'm going to show you a card that I made that uses that. So there's this. But I'm also sneaking in another stamp set called Circle Sayings. And the reason I am is because, see that cupcake? Well, that's going to look really, really great on the inside of my card. So I'm actually using two stamp sets, but the main one I'm focusing on is Beautiful Balloons. So here is the card I'm going to make, kind of. I'm going to use a different color palette. And the reason for that is I want to show off some of the new colors. So in addition to the new color, the 5 new ink colors, we also had a color refresh. And we got some really fun new colors, like Bubble Bath, the pink I've always wanted, and Berry Burst, which is a returning color, and don't they look nice together? And then on the card I'm actually going to assemble for you, or make for you, we have Azure Afternoon, which is brand new, and then Lemon Lolly, which is also brand new. And aren't those gorgeous? Now, let's get going on the card I'm going to make. I just want to point out that I always do my envelopes, and there's a trick to doing the envelopes, and I left it in here. If you don't want it to bleed on the back, then you put one of these here, and it absorbs the ink that would come through from your blends. So I always have a piece of about this size that I just hanging out that I can just stick in here, because I always do something with my envelope. Now, I love to stamp here on the envelope too, but if I do that and I color it with Stampin' Blends, which are our alcohol markers, they look like this, it'll bleed through to this side, and that doesn't look so pretty. So if I do that, I actually take a piece of DSP and then cut it to fit here, and then I can stamp here, because that's also cute, right? Wouldn't that look great if I stamp this right in the middle and they open it up and it's a big cupcake? All right, so the other thing I always do, and I'm going to show you that right now too, is that I always decorate the inside. And so this is where that cupcake comes in. So let's get our celebration on is from the Beautiful Balloons, but this image is from Circle Sayings. And Circle Sayings is a great bundle, and somebody else will probably be showing that today, but I just really wanted to I wanted this inside to be special too. And so I'm going to show you how I made this and a few of the tricks that I use to get it to look like it does. So let's get started. Now I've already stamped and colored the inside and the envelope because there's nothing more boring, at least in my opinion, than watching someone color, especially since I'm not trying to teach you to color, right? I didn't do any shading in here. I just colored it straight on. So really, many of us learned how to color in grade school, so we're probably okay with me not showing you that. And I'll put them on eventually. So I start with an Azure Afternoon base, and then I have this Lemon Lolly panel to go on top of it. Now, the Lemon Lolly, it has been embossed with another somewhat new thing. It's part of our online exclusives, which means that they're only online, they never appear in the catalog, and it's called 3D Basics, and there are 3 embossing folders in it. And I love them because I think embossing gives just such a nice feel to the card. It gives it some texture and it just makes the card look better. Okay, so now we're going to look at how I built the card. So I'm using the designer period paper, designer series paper called Bright and Brilliant, or maybe it's Bright and Beautiful. And anyway, it's these great patterns. It comes in 6x6, and then I cut it to 2 inches by 2 inches, and then I'm going to attach it here. Now, I find sometimes when I'm trying to attach something on top of here, that Stampin' Seal doesn't work well. So if that's the case, I just grab my liquid glue. Now you're going to say, wait a minute, that's not the glue Stampin' Up sells. I don't like using those big bottles. They're harder for me, and I end up with too much glue. So I always transfer my glue into one of those little bottles. It just makes it much easier. Okay, so, and you'll have to excuse me. I have a really bad eye, so I have really bad depth perception. So sometimes I got to get my head in there to make sure that it's on straight, or excuse me if it's crooked. I'm all about the concept, doesn't have to be perfect. So anyway, I took these 2 pieces, 2 inches by 2 inches, cut them in half. And by the way, Crafty Collaborations is selling a tutorial. So you don't have to worry about taking these down. The tutorial will benefit, which one is it this time? We have a charity that it benefits. I think it's helping children with smiles this time. There are a lot of children who are born with cleft palates, and if we don't help out, they end up going through life with a cleft palate and, maybe not having the best life. So we kind of want to help them out. And so we sell our tutorial just to help them out. All right, so that's sort of the base, and I like the way that looks. Now, I'm not sure you can see this, so I'm going to put it by its balloon. But one of the things that comes with this is this clear acetate with gold. Let me get that up there. Can you see that? Look at that. Isn't that cool? So, for instance, on this one, there's 3 patterns, and I'm going to show you what all 3 look like because I have cards made with all 3 of them. This one has what looks like little confettis. Oh, that was a good view of it. Yeah, right there. This one has stars and, stuff, other confetti-like stuff. And when I show you the other card I made, you'll see that it has gold circles. Now, one of the problems we have is how do you glue it on? So that's one of the things I waited to do because I wanted to show you. So I am going to take a glue dot, just like this. Yeah, maybe like this. Here, you can watch me angle it. And I'm going to do this. I'm just going to place it right here on the base of my balloon, and then I'm going to stick this on top of it. Now you're going to say, wait a minute, I can see that. That's really ugly. And this time it's not so ugly because I managed to hide it behind one of those little, by one of the elements in the paper on the window sheet. Acetate sheet, window sheet, same idea. But you'll notice on my sample that I have a piece of twine there, right? So we don't carry azure afternoon twine or, I already cut one, or, you know, berry burst twine. So what I do then is I take my Stampin' blend, and this is one of the reasons I like these blends so much, and I just color it. There goes my work surface, though. It's no longer pristine. I should have had a piece of scrap paper to do this. Anyway, you get the idea. So anyway, you color it. And this one's pretty curly, so I'm struggling a little. And, you know, you roll it around, make sure it's all colored. And then you have this beautiful piece of ribbon that matches. And I have to tell you a story. As I was designing this card, I was on a retreat with a bunch of women, and this is where I made this one. And the rhinestones weren't colored at first, but somebody was saying, how'd you get that colored ribbon or colored twine? And I told them, and then I said, oh yeah, I should have colored the rhinestones too. So you're gonna see me do that. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I am going to put a piece, another glue dot on the balloon there. And then I'm going to put the twine on it. So if you can see that, see I have glue dot in the twine. And then I'm gonna wrap the twine around it, but I'm gonna put another glue dot, although that could probably stick on that one, I wanna make sure it's really stuck there so it doesn't come apart. So this is just a little tip for how you can make this work if you need to. So then I'm gonna put, see that came off already. I'm gonna put that on that one, like this, sorry, I need to do this on camera. And I'm going to, oh, that's frayed, that's why. All right, let's try this again. So I have two glue dots. I'm putting one on it, and I'm gonna wrap that one around, and then I'm going to pull it pretty taut, and then I'm going to put the other one like that, and then it's gonna come out of the back. Can you see how that looks? So now it looks like the string on the balloon, and it hides whatever was there, right? So now we truly cannot see how that was attached. And I know that because the 53 people who looked at 52, because it was not me, I already knew it, asked, how did you glue those together? So I know it was hidden, because otherwise they'd have warned me and said, well, you might want to fix this. And so now I'm going to get some dimensionals, and I'm going to pop them off. And since there's only two, I'm just going to use my hands. And as you can probably tell, I have some garbage can right off screen. And those darn glue dots aren't really sticking. Okay, now what's next? So next I'm going to do the sentiment, right? Now you can see from this card that I only need enough for happy birthday. And so what I did is to save paper, I only cut it out, you know, I used some scraps and I only cut out enough so that I could have it on half. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up my stamp pad. Oh, and one other thing I've been doing lately, and I just thought I'd tell you because these are all new, is when you get these, you get the back has all of the labels so that you can put a label here in your language. Well, I've decided that even though I do not speak, you know, the other languages that are used, I'm putting those all over my thing so that no matter which side I'm looking at it from, I can tell what it is. You know, because sometimes, I don't know, I just can't. So anyway, I'm going to open that up and I'm going to find my stamp. Now, these are photopolymer stamps. They're clear. And one of the things that I've always found is you get a better image from them if you put them on a Stampin' Pierce mat. So we used to use these for piercing holes, but now we use them for stamping. And it's because there's not a lot of cushion on these photopolymers. So when you stamp them right on a hard surface, you don't get as good of an image. So anyway, I'm going to do that, and excuse my head, but I got to make sure I get it in here. All right, so that's good. Good enough. All right, so I'm going to put that aside and I'll clean it later. And now I'm going to take my scissors, which I thought I had everything out here I needed. Look at these scissors, they have my name on it. Somebody gave them to me as a gift, how fun. So anyway, I'm going to cut this off right like that. Oops, not quite straight. And so that's our sentiment. And then I am going to, and this is the little tricky part, very carefully, let me get that out of the way. I'm going to very carefully thread this end through the end of the string on the balloon. And I'm doing this because I want it to look like, you know, the balloon is holding the tag. All right, so now it's through, and now I'm going to put another glue dot, or maybe I'll just put a little snail there to hold it. Could have used snail on the behind thing too. I wouldn't have needed the glue dot. And now I'm also going to pop that up. But before I do, I skipped a step. So let me do that step. And what was the step? Well, if I do this, I don't think it stands out enough, right? So one of the things that I did to enhance it was to just use a little, my sponge dauber, and put just a little bit of color around the edge. Not a lot, you know, I'm not really trying to color it. I'm just trying to give it a border. All right, so now that I've done that, now I'll glue it on. Normally you do that before you, you've got my fingers, before you would attach it, but I missed that step until I got it attached. So no harm, no foul, right? All right, so now I'm gonna take these off. That one's not off yet. There we go. All right, so now I'm just gonna put that like that. And it's almost done, but to me, it still needs something, right? I mean, that's a cute card, and you know, I would send that card, but I want it to look a little bit more fun. So I'm gonna take some rhinestones and I'm gonna color it. Now, when I color embellishments with my blends, I use the bullet tip. That's the one with the skinny line, not my brush tip. Why? Because the brush tip is usually used for coloring, and if you use it on your rhinestones or your other embellishments, you're gonna wreck it. So I always teach my customers and my friends, because that one didn't work, to use the bullet tip when you're coloring embellishments. All right, so I hope you can see that. Maybe I should be a little closer. But anyway, I'm just using that bullet tip and I'm just going around so that I get the rhinestones that match the card. And then I'm gonna just put them on. So here, let me show you what that looks like after you've done that. Let me see if I can get the ones, where are they? Maybe it's not so obvious that they're colored. There are these three. Well, maybe I need to add a little more colors since I couldn't see them on the camera. So I will. I want them to be nice and blue. I love this Azure Afternoon, and I love Berry Burst, and I love Lemon Lolly. I am so excited about the colors. Oh my gosh, it's just been great. So anyway, if I get that right up there, you can see that, yeah, now you can see it. Can you see that those three are colored? So I am going to put them on just to give it a little bit of sparkle. So I'm gonna put one here, and then I'm gonna put two over here. Well, one kind of down here, and then one over here. Because that just kind of sets it off. And so then the last step, of course, is to attach the inside. Now you're gonna ask why I didn't just do that before. Well, I always do it last, because what if I mess up the card, then I haven't wrecked the insert. And I like to do this because I think it just gives a more finished, polished look to the card. So there we go. And that's the card. All right, so now I have one more thing to show you before I leave you. Oh, and by the way, so this is the stamp I use to stamp the inside. So stamp that in the color, and then of course the cupcake, and then I colored them. So Here's another thing, another card I made with the same set. So here I had room for the whole die cut, and so I put the happy birthday in the middle using Azure Afternoon, and then this is the same card base. But then I cut out more balloons with that with the dies from this set and just arranged them on the card. So it looks like you know, a bunch of balloons floating around. But I used the same trick. Here I didn't have to worry so much though about hiding the thing that was gluing the acetate to the balloon, because I covered it up with this one. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you do, can you give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and maybe I will try and make a few more. You know, it's not my, haven't made a whole lot yet, but I would like to do more because I love to teach. I love to show people things. So those are my 3 cards. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the rest of the day.